Hello, welcome to yet another sit and talk. They're coming thick and fast now, ain't they, Deke? Mate,
That's what she said. That's what she said. I can't. How you doing, Lee? You all right?
Very well, my friend. Very well.
Brilliant. The weather is awful today down in London. What's the weather like in Brighton?
Not bright. It's not bright at all, mate. It's not bright at all. It's been
Brighton's not living up to its name, clearly.
No, it's been Grimton. It's not good for a July, is it? Not at all.
No, you wouldn't think it was July. Eventful week for us, eh, Lee? You've had a day of it today.
Yeah, I always.
Social media, what a fun place it is overall. Kev, how you doing, buddy? Welcome, everybody. If you're just jumping in, welcome. We've got a great show today. The shirt is a little hint.
Mm-hmm.
Lee, who have we got?
Yeah, we've got a very good lad who I've been following for quite a few years. Obviously, with football, comes gambling.
Well, they pretty much come hand in hand. I was looking at some stats and everything like that. I think it's like there's some collective value of the 10th annual review of the Premier League shirt deals and everything like that. Over half of the Premier League teams have a gambling sponsorship deal, looking at around £350 million value-wise on sponsorships. Who have we got here? West Ham, Everton, Wolves, Burnley, Palace, Newcastle, Watford, Villa, Bournemouth, all gambling sponsorship deals. And then obviously, live games. You've got what's his name? Oh, he's completely
Ray Winston, Chris Kamara.
Ray Winston, betting play. Yeah, a little bit of that.
As a football fan myself, I'm really not a gambler. I don't understand it. And this guest today, I've wanted to have on the show for many a year. It's just he got round to going up to Derby to see his lovely self. But
I think you pretty much nailed it, though, Lee. Like the fact that we don't know too much about, sometimes we'll chuck a tenner here, a tenner there. On the what's it called, the horse race that happens once a year with the 40 horses, the
Grand National.
Everyone at work, you'll do a pot, and you know what I mean? Sometimes you'll do it, but we don't know too much. And I think because football and betting in general go hand in hand, especially in today's day and age, and especially with the financial climate, it'd be a great idea to have a conversation with someone that really knows what they're talking about, so we can look out for the signs and we can really help somebody if, in the future we have a conversation with someone that's really struggling with maybe a gambling problem or anything like that. So, Lee, it was a brilliant idea bringing on our guest, and I'm very much looking forward to having the conversation.
He's a lovely lad. It's a shame he supports Derby, and you've got that rotten shirt on. We're not going to talk about Dennis and
Up the Rams.
I think without further ado, we just got to kind of like...
let's just jump in. That's it.
I'd like to welcome Andy to the frame.
Hey, sir. Thanks for having me on today. I like this use of the term lad, mate. I'm 40 years young, so I'm quite buzzing with that, to be fair.
You don't look a day older than 42.
Yeah, cheers.
How you been anyway, mate? How is sunny Derby?
Not very sunny at the minute, but no, I live quite a nice little bit area, just on the outskirts of the city centre. Got the Peak District 20-25 minutes away as well, which gets used at times, so that's quite nice.
That's got to be a win right there.
That's amazing.
Mate, it's brilliant.
I've been in contact with you for the best part of 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
We, like I said in the intro, we wanted to get you on this show many a time. And I suppose doing this now, we've come to the conclusion that we're not going to come up to Derby anytime soon. We're allowed to anyway, so we thought let's do it this way. And I don't know if you heard the intro, in the sense that I'm a massive football fan. Deacon's a massive football fan. Not a big gambler, but it's something that it's something that I really want to understand a hell of a lot more. I've got many stories of going to football and people literally on their phones. A player comes on, literally they're putting money straight on for the next goal scorer, be it that person has just come on. And it just baffles me that this happens. And hopefully today we can have a lot more better understanding of gambling and your story. I think your story is quite important. You're very much linked with Derby at the moment and doing wonderful things that we've seen on social media. It's been a great what's the word I'm looking for? It's been great to see it grow and the positivity. You know, it is a very, very taboo subject, betting and obviously opening up and talking about it. And obviously, it's exactly what we do with men's mental health. And I think men kind of need to open up a lot more with gambling.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, you see it with the addiction, with different addictions like drugs and alcohol, the two kind of traditional ones. You can see the physical effects in that, and you actually see something happening. Whereas gambling, they call it the silent addiction, because you can't see it happening. You don't see it until it's like the person's at rock bottom and they need to get help, or unfortunately, some people do unfortunately lose their lives through it as well. I mean, it has the fastest going rate. Suicide is for around gambling in the country, in the UK. They reckon on average around 350 to 400 die each year because of it. So
they're facts I've never even. Do you know what? I watched a program, say about a year ago, and it was about a young lad. Mum and dad were absolutely amazing, and absolute credit to him. And they were talking about gambling and so forth, football and all of this and so forth. And they come up with exactly the same fact. And it just blew my mind. I went to myself, how have we allowed this to happen on a grand scale? You know, football should be there for entertainment, enjoyment. Obviously, people do like to bet, and obviously, your story you explained to us. I think explain that now to get that not out of the way, but to the forefront, because I think it's a very poignant story you have. Yeah,
no problem. So I'll go on for about 20-25 minutes here, but it is worth listening to. So yeah, I mean, where did it all start? My granddad used to have a bet on the horses. My dad still does. He still likes to have a bit of a bet on the horses as well. He's retired now. And I kind of got followed suit, 13, 14 years old. As you mentioned earlier, Grand National, 50p each way on a horse. Pick a silly named horse out, silly named jockey, whatever, and just watch the horses glide over the fence. But I was instantly transfixed by it. I loved the adrenaline and watching the race, and something that I could win in the end. And and it gave me another connection with my dad as well, apart from football and doing things with him and stuff like that. And back in the early 90s and mid 90s, you could get in the bookies quite easily and put a bet on. So I was doing that quite a bit as well. It made me feel like an adult, made me feel grown up. A bit like when you have your first drink when you're 14, 15 down the park or something. This was similar. This was just in gambling terms, to be fair. And so I ended up every weekend just have a little flag bet around Robin bet, which is like a little accumulator, nothing fancy. I was earning quite a bit of money as well. At 14, I was a qualified football referee. So I was earning quite a bit of money through that, doing 2-3 games over the weekend. So back in 94, 95, I was earning 30, 40 quid a weekend. So it's quite a lot of money for someone who's not doing a paper hand. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed doing the refereeing, but it let me have a bit of a gamble as well. Just £1, £2 here or there. And I had an accumulator bet once. It was 4 horses. 5p I put on it. I barely put any money on it, and all 4 horses won, and brought me in £225, which was a lot of money for 14-year-old. So it kind of kept me involved, kept me enjoying it a bit and stuff. So sorry, I thought you lost me now. Anytime there's big race meetings like Cheltenham Festival, Grand National Festival, the Triumph, Epsom Derby, Royal Ascot, I'd have a few quid on that as well. So I enjoyed it. It was something to do with my dad. Go to race meets now and again as well. Utox, which is just down the road from Derby. And I enjoyed it. Being in the bookies.
Oh,
I think that's Storm.
I think it's the storm. Why is this? It's July. It's July. Why are these storms?
I think it's a storm.
This is nuts, dude. Why are these storms hitting us so badly in July? Obviously, we had them as well during the Chris Kirkland interview, where there was a real problem with the connection issues, and it's coming up. It's resurfacing again today, and the Kirkland was last month in June. And this is July, and we're just having so many connection issues with the Storm. That's a massive problem with England and Britain in general. And it's always a Wednesday. Well said, Sean. That's a problem with England and Britain in general. Oh, okay, go on. Is he back?
They've got a vendetta against us.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's cracking off there, but I usually got quite strong internet there, so I think it was some sort of doing with the weather. I think so.
Definitely.
But, yeah. So where was I? I was like, well, got to 16, I left school, got a part-time job at McDonald's, as you do, £2.70 an hour. So I'm showing my age there. But paying my way through college, went to start doing A-levels, and met a new group of mates. We played a game, played cards during dinner breaks, and sometimes skipped lessons and stuff as well. So remember, I don't know if any of you two guys know what free card brag is, but it's basically like a little mild version of poker, basically. And we had like 5s, 10p's, 20p's being chucked in. And it's about the only time we really wanted to lose because you didn't want to carry all that change around with you. But it was a laugh and a joke. And then it kind of like went into Friday nights before I went out on the piss, like. So whoever's mum and dad had gone away for the weekend or whatever, we'll settle down with loads of tinnies, get a takeaway order, 20, 30 quid each, and just take the piss out of each other playing cards. Didn't matter if we won or lost. Betting a bit on the football as well. So anytime the Euros or the World Cup were around, I was like the go-to guy for like bets and stuff and sweepstakes, etc. that you organised at work or whatever between your mates. Have a few quid on a fruity. Gambling didn't really take off. I was just having a few quid at a time on the horses. But I enjoyed it. It was a laugh. It was a social aspect of it as well. I had no problem, no control, plenty of control. Went through college, went through various jobs. I got to about 2021 and I met my wife, Becky, in a nightclub in Derby. It was a blind date because I was awful at chatting up women. And lo and behold, she fell in love with me. And I was like, we went out dating, went on holidays, etc. And then we decided to take the plunge and move in together. So brought a nice little 2 up, 2 down Victorian terrace, a bit like what you see on Coronation Street, and own my own home. I've also got a very good job as well. This is like 2001, 2002. We have a Toyota manufacturing not far from just west of Derby, about 10, 15 minutes away. They had the main plant in the UK there. And lucky enough to get a job there, like kind of warehousing in forklifts, like internal logistics kind of thing. Yeah. And I was earning quite a good wage at 25, 30 grand a year at 21, 22. And that was a lot. I mean, it's a good wage now, but it was a pretty decent wage back in the day. And so I had a lot of disposable income. So after all my bills were paid, I had about £800 a month left to spend on what I liked and stuff. So my gambling kind of like went up a bit more, another notch. Instead of like £1s and £2s, it's more like 5s, 10s and 20s. Nothing I couldn't control. I always made sure religiously that I never, whatever a set target or anything like that, if I won, I won, I lost, I could walk away. Becky had a decent office job, 9-to-5 job as well, earning a bit less than me, but we were pulling in decent money. Paid the mortgage every month, paid all the bills, absolutely fine. We had separate bank accounts as well. Got married in 2005. Great day, everything. All my tables were named after famous racehorses. It was a bit of a pay homage to my dad because obviously there was horse racing and stuff. So that was a bit of a gambling theme there. And a little side note to that story: all the women for the favours, all the women had a lottery ticket for that night, and we put £1 win on every horse in a race, which is like whether it's super sprint, and it was exactly how many men were there during the day at the wedding. And my dad was going to pay him out by himself and go and collect the winnings the next day. Horse won at 100 to 1.
Whoa.
So he had to do for the cash points called pay this guy. So it was quite a bit of a side note, quite funny like. But not long after that,
it's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Todd's law. But not long after that, I got kind of introduced to playing poker online. And I thought, you know what, I'll have a bit of that. Put 20 quid online, like basically just to go in like multi-table tournaments and stuff like that. So just whatever I lost by entering the tournament, that's all I lost. I wasn't like losing more every hand. Ended up winning the tournament, won 2 tournaments, ended up winning 20 tournaments online. I thought it was really tough.
How much on average would each tournament?
Yeah, basically, I mean, the biggest win I won a tournament where the jackpot was £5,000. I beat 700 people worldwide over 5 hours. It took me.
Wow. In one sitting?
In one sitting.
Wow.
And problem was, that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, that big win. Because I thought, you know what, I'm shit hot at this. Ego was going through the roof.
Right, yeah.
Win £5,000. You probably hear this around a lot of people who talk about their gambling addiction, big wins. I thought I could win more, 10 grand, 20 grand. I thought I could win 250 grand. So I started like raising mistakes, started going in more tournaments which have a higher value, costing more, started playing cash every hand as well. So before I knew it, I was playing like, what, $100 is in all in US dollar format it was. So I was playing like $100, $200 hand. Whilst I was waiting for one hand, I was opening up another tab. So I was playing in another hand game. I was playing blackjack on the side as well at the same time as well, like £100 a hand.
Did you think at this time, Andy, when you're going through all this, and obviously you've got windows open all over the place, and you're in certain rooms and playing certain games and 3-4 at a time, as you stated there. Do you feel, looking back, you had an addiction, or did you just?
Well, I would have, in hindsight, I would have crossed an invisible line at some point, and I thought I had control and everything. I was hiding everything, but within a space of about 3 months, I got a £3,000 debt, £3,000 overdrawn. So I thought, you know what, I need to find access to more. Instead of like trying to pay it off and leaving it, I kind of thought, right, I need some more access to money. Got a credit card for £3,000, maxed it out in 3 months. Second credit card, third credit card.
Wow.
Fourth credit card. Just smashed them within the space of about 3 or 4 months. Just smashed it all £3,000 a piece. They were. So it was back in like 2005, 2006. So just before the credit crunch, when it was dead easy to get credit.
Yeah.
And I had an A1 rating. I was like, fantastic credit rating. So all of a sudden, in the space of about 3 months, I had £15,000 debt through gambling. So it was eating into half my disposable income. So about £400 a month my credit commitments were. So I thought, you know what? I need to get a loan here to clear my credit cards. Wow. Got a £15,000 loan instantly. I walked into my local HSBC, got a £15,000 loan, but I wanted to gamble in that instant. So I managed to get £1,000 cash drawn out. Went straight over to the bookmakers opposite the bank. Went in, and you know the fixed odds betting terminals, like the properties.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening now, it's like a bit of an upgraded version of a fruit machine where you can play casino games on there. And I was playing roulette, and you could pay £100 a spin back then. And within 45 minutes, I lost that £1,000.
I've personally been into rookies, and like if I'm having a bet, I'll put £1 on like a random. I don't even look at the team, so I just put £1 on a random accumulate. If it comes in, I look at it. It's like you will win £75,000, and I'm like, that'd be nice. But for me, that's where it's a cliche thing, but that's where the fun stops for me. But as I'm writing that out, I've mates of mine. I'm not naming anybody because I think that's unfair. But they were literally putting £50 notes into this machine and literally just spinning it, losing it.
Yeah,
I was just like.
It's fast. It's the speed of it. I mean, and what I just left there numb, thinking forget about it. So I got back home. I paid my credit cards off, but I left them open. I thought, what if I could win that £15,000 back and pay it off and then win more? 1 credit card, 2 credit cards, 3 credit cards, 4. Maxed them out again within 3 months. So within 6 months, I got a £30,000 debt. And now I've got about £650, £700 worth of credit commitments per month. So I've started to minimum payment everything, and then just kind of like missing payments now and again. So I started to get 1 or 2 little letters in through the post and stuff. So I had to hide them in wardrobes and shred them and stuff. So Becky didn't know. It was eating.
How would you feeling at this point? Obviously, you've like literally maxed out untold credit cards. You're now
the stress levels.
Exactly. How was your stress? Did you?
It started to affect my work life, and I worked at Toyota 2 weeks a days, 2 weeks a nights. So I was maximising my time and opportunity to gamble. And all I was living around was to gamble. So when I was on nights, I'd come home 6 in the morning. Becky would be on a 9 to 5 job. I'd be awake. I'd be up for 9:30. I could gamble all day then. When I was on days, go to bed 2, 3 in the morning. I was up at 6. It started to affect my work life. I sat in a forklift, one of the jobs, and I had a pallet of sat-navs, brand new sat-navs to go with brand new Toyota cars. So loads of them, about 200 sat-navs. I fell asleep at the wheel while I was driving, and forklift is a dirty piece of machinery at the best of time, dangerous piece of machinery at the best of time. Went straight into a stanchion and did 50 grand's worth of damage, and all the sat-navs, they had to burn them off. And I got a written warning for that. So it started to affect my work. And obviously stressed. I was starting to get, I was tired. I was overweight. I weren't eating right. Started to get anxious about things as well. Trying to hide things from Becky, obviously. But I thought, right, I got another 15 grand loan, cleared the credit cards again. But the same vicious circle applied again. All 4 credit cards maxed out in 3 months. So in 9 months, I've gone from 0 debt, from that big win pretty much, to 45 grand's worth of debt.
So do you
4
think
credit cards maxed out? Sorry.
Do you think, Andy? Sorry. Do you think if you didn't have won, the 5 grand thing is obviously? Do you feel like that was the catalyst for you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
you pretty much nailed it with what you said. You feel like, oh well, Jesus, I like poker and I'm good at poker. Why not do it?
Yeah, you feel untouchable. You feel like you're always going to get that big win to clear everything. You think you're always going to get yourself out of the shit. And this is what happens with the addiction, you see. You start hiding things and stuff. So I've got that 45 grand worth of debt. I've got 4 credit cards, an overdraft, and 2 unsecured loans. I'm starting to struggle to get credit now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to have adverts on telly around getting a secured loan. Mm-hmm. So second mortgage basically on your house. And I got pre-approved for 15 grand. But I had to somehow, because Becky was a co-signatory on the house, I had to somehow cook up a plan to get her to sign for it. So I said, right, they're going to tell you the terms for 15 grand, but I'm only borrowing 5 and being responsible. I'm only borrowing 5 grand. And obviously, because she believed me and she loved me, and she naively just signed it away. So I got this 15 grand. I cleared the credit cards. I knew I had a problem then. And I cleared all my credit cards and everything cleared. And obviously, I still had my 2 or 15 grand loans to pay, but I could pretty much just afford them, basically. But I thought, what if?
No.
And I went through them again. 4 credit cards maxed out in 3 months. So in the space of a year, I got 65 grand's worth of debt. Becky also just fell pregnant with my first child. So I was going to be a father for the first time. Now I was in the shit. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I took money out of the purse to gamble.
Was you ever gambling on your phone? You've got the apps and William Hill.
I mean, back in the day, that was still fairly new and stuff. I was more online because obviously it'd been that long ago now. I was more online, but I think if I had a phone back then and I could do it, I've been all over it, to be fair.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to escape it. But I've got to New Year's resolution. Everyone has a New Year's resolution, don't they? To not get fit and stuff and all that. But I said, stop gambling. And for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, I did. Because I had no access to money. I was skint.
Yeah.
I was telling Becky all sorts. I was getting phone calls.
I was about to say.
Borrowing phone calls and everything.
Yeah.
It's coming through the post. I was actually beating the postman to the door, so Becky couldn't get the post before me.
Wow. Thinking of everything to try and cover it. Did you feel? Obviously, I know you've obviously felt extremely guilty. Sean's got a good question in the chat. Sort of guilty about lying to Becky. What and you going through those steps of actually trying to preemptively stop it, like meeting the postman and doing it when went on different sleep cycles, so you're able to hide it as much as you can. Did she not find it weird that you had spendable cash and then you were all of a sudden skint?
Yeah, I mean, I just covered it obviously I had my own bank account, and did I feel guilty lying to her? Yeah, of course I did. I think anyone can say I didn't. But I had this compulsion to gamble, and it just taken over my life, and everything else didn't matter apart from that. I lived in a bubble, complete bubble.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a very nice person. I was quite aggressive and confrontational kind of person. Not like violent, but if someone told me the grass was green, I'll tell them it was fucking blue. I was that kind of person. Just be all. I was an awkward fucker, horrible bastard, and just very snappy, and that's what it made me do. And but yeah, I mean, every 2 or 3 weeks I didn't gamble. As soon as payday come, £2,000 in my bank account. Within 48 hours, it was gone again. I wasn't paying any bills. Water rates were not being paid. Lecky bills were getting final demands, but I was hiding more from her. And then obviously it got to March 2007, 20th of March 2007, my son Joel was born. Everyone else was absolutely over the moon. Granddads for the grandmas for the first time, in-laws, my mum and dad, Becky being a mum for the first time over the moon.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be on the face of the earth. I should have been absolutely ecstatic being a dad for the first time at 27.
Yeah.
But instead, all I wanted to do was just stay away from gambling. I was anxious, I was depressed, and I wanted to kill myself. And about 4 days after, I sat at the computer and I got Joel on my lap and I was doing the milk feed, while Becky was sleeping. It was early hours of the morning. And I was Googling ways to kill myself with my lad on my lap. Fastest way to do it. Luckily, I never went through that kind of going through it, but I had all those visions of like, what if I just won't be around? Everything would be so much better for everybody if I wasn't here. And that's the mindset I was in. I got to the 14th of April 2007, day of my last bet. It was about 4:30 in the morning, and I just lost another 600 quid playing poker. I thought, right, that's it, I had enough. I went down to my cellar, picked up a hammer and smashed my PC to absolute bits because I thought that's the way to stop myself from gambling.
Wow.
Becky came running downstairs and she was like, what are you fucking doing? Are you crazy or something? And I'm like that. I even lied about that. I went, the computer's broke.
Wow.
Is now.
Yeah.
No,
definitely broke.
We thought, oh, what's he doing? But for like the next 6 weeks, I didn't gamble. How I managed it, I don't know. I was like going cold turkey, a bit like a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Climbing the walls, banging wardrobes, kicking all sorts. I got one Friday afternoon in June. I came back from work, opened the door. Becky looking sullen-faced. Got Joel in her arms, 3-month-old son. He's giggling away, and she's got a statement in her hand.
Oh.
So I kind of like been rumbled, been found out, and for the first time in 2 years, I was honest with her. I told her absolutely everything. You know what? It felt like a breath of fresh air.
Sure.
Yeah.
You'll hear that a lot through gambling addicts as well. The first time they're able to talk to either the partners, the wife, the parents, or whatever. And for the first time, I felt like a weight off my shoulders. But I was there for 10, 15 minutes while she was just like, her jaw was swinging. And she just told me 2 words, get out. I just piled on all my shit to her, basically. So I left the house. I got in the car and I thought, I've got to go and tell my mum and dad now. Got in the car. To this day, I mean, I don't know if my Twitter account, I'm a bit of a raver, a bit of like old trancy, dancy, like old school, late 90s, bit 90s and all that, like music and stuff and all that. Like, you'll see me, like, I love all my dance music and stuff nowadays still. But I turned CD player off in my car, and for that 10, 15 minute drive back to mum and dad's, all I could hear in their head was the Death March playing at funerals, thinking, that's where I'm going to end up next. It's going to kill me, this is. Got back to mum and dad's, repeated the same story I told my wife. Obviously, they get epileptic with rage, every swear word you could think of. They gave me so many round of fucks, it was unbelievable. But I deserved it. They knew I was at rock bottom. Lots of tears, lots of tantrums, but they knew I was at rock bottom. So got to the point, what I needed to do. I needed to get help. They went online, found Gamblers Anonymous. And then the following Tuesday, I went to my local derby meet. I got dragged there kicking and screaming. I thought no one was like me. No one at all.
All too common.
Sat in that first meeting, proceeded to be like a nodding dog, thinking, yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. And I was kind of in the right place to get to be. the biggest thing you lose around addiction, gambling addiction, it's not the money. I learned that fast. The debt, I've always thought the debt and everything. And lots of people who message me for help and stuff always worry about the debt first. It's the trust in you. The trust is the thing you lose the most because you've been lying for so long and you've been so dishonest and you've been so deceivers and disingenuous that no one can trust you anymore. And so when I went back, I moved back in, obviously, but Beck, she lost complete trust in me, complete faith in me. I actually stayed with me. I don't know. She should have bit me off, but I'm lucky she's so strong, and to this day still. And she took control of all my finances, so I had to get rid of like the access to money. So all I had per day was like £1, £2 pocket money per day. I was treated like a kid.
Yeah.
With money. I had to be, and that's what I learned from GA. Kept going to my GA meetings. Every time we went out, she wouldn't hold my hand for months. She'd have a walk in front of me, walk behind me, talk to me when she only needed to. But by being honest, and talking to her about my feelings and if I had urges to gamble, things got better. And I kept just being honest. I kept receipts for everything I brought, etc. and stuff like that. I have ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. You have your good days and bad days in addiction, in recovery. Boxing Day 2007 was a good one. It's a massive gambling day in the UK. Obviously, it's a massive sporting day with football and horse racing and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And Becky had gone down south to see her family and friends with her son. She left me the most amount of money I had since I started gambling, which was £20 now. And I wanted to gamble. I was bouncing off walls, going cold turkey, and I thought, I need to get rid of this 20 quid, otherwise I'm going to do something with it I regret. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do? I got on the blower. Chinese, chicken curry, fried rice, chips, chow mein, prawn chicken. Half an hour later, it came, knocked on the door. It was about 16 quid it come to. I went, just take the 20, mate. I don't want no change. Come in. And by doing that action, I didn't gamble that day. I put on a few pounds in weight eating all that shit.
Chinese, who would have thought?
It was worth doing that to not gamble.
Yeah.
And you live by in Gamblers Anonymous, you live by a day at a time, and I've got it tattooed on my arm. Luckily I didn't gamble, but by being honest, keep talking about my feelings and talking about how I was and talking about my urges, things got better. Life was getting better, work was getting better. I got to my first year pin. You have like a little pin in GA, and I was so proud of myself. And life slowly got better. I mean, I got blessed twice more with kids. Valentine's Day, Liam was born in 2010. And in between that, though, we had a third pregnancy. But Becky, this is about 5 years into my recovery nearly. But unfortunately, we miscarried about 8-9 weeks in. So I had to grow up and be a father and be a man. And by going through GA and being in recovery and by being honest, I could look after Becky. I think if I was still in the midst of gambling and mixing my addiction when she had the miscarriage, I wouldn't be going 2 fucks about it. My grief would have gone and done 2-3 grand online. But I could, all the support she'd given me, I could give her now, and she needed it when I needed it most. And luckily, I was in recovery, and luckily I had GA around me, so I knew how to react to the grief, knew how to react to terrible life situations. Because end of the day, these things happen, and it's kind of normal that these things happen. And you hear a lot about GA where you have a high as a kite or low down here. You just want to be normal, talk in a normal sense. And luckily enough, Christmas Day that year, Lucy was born. So I've got 2 kids, one on Valentine's Day, one on Christmas Day. What are the odds of that? I have to drop in a gambling pun. But life was good. I mean, and then I've drifted out of work and left Toyota pretty much on bad terms. I won't go into it too much, but about 6-7 years ago now. And then I've fritted around like quite low paid jobs, ended up in Christmas pudding factory of all places. Where that was grim, mate, I tell you now. But I worked in various different places, ended up working for a company called Kunago. It's like a logistics company. So we had a big beer warehouse where I worked there for a bit, and that was good. And about 4.5 years ago now, I thought, you know what, I want to come out to the world. My mum and dad know about it, or the close friends and family know about it. Or I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about it, or a bit more open. But I didn't want to write about it because I was procrastinating. I was too lazy to write. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little video about my story, a bit like what I'm sharing with you now, like a 10-minute video, and see if people relate to it or anything like that. Also, I banged it on YouTube. I was quite savvy with Twitter already anyway and stuff like that. So I put it through my Twitter, my social media and stuff. But I was like more talking about football and just general life. But then obviously I got quite a good reaction about it all, and people sort of messaged me for help and say, keep doing the videos. Because I was like one of a kind at the time doing them like on a regular basis. Obviously got plenty of people who were blogging it and stuff. And it was great to do. It was just doing like little 5-10 minute little snappy videos of like sharing my life, a bit like sharing I was in the GA meeting, so to speak. So giving people a bit of an insight into my life and giving tips and advice how to recover and stuff like that. And it started to overwhelm a bit and started to get like a bit of media attention as well. So I started to do like little local radio, local Derby Telegraph article. Started getting on a national scale. So anytime there was like any gambling news in the press, I was asked for a comment. So anything that was kicking off and around gambling and gambling addiction and gambling harm, I started to do. I think one of the most bizarre moments was when I was on BBC News 24. I've sat here on this very table waiting to be interviewed, and before me was Prince Harry and Meghan being interviewed. And stuff and all that. Like, now I'm there just sitting there just in my shorts and I'm waiting here to be interviewed here about like whatever gambling terms there is. So I've done Victoria Derbyshire a couple of times as well during the day. That was quite amazing. And I did a article around my story in the Guardian. So I've got a 1-page article in the Guardian as well. And then it kind of like snowballed from there. I did a bit of adult work for a charity and a bit of other things as well. And
do you feel that doing this and with your YouTube and so forth, do you feel that that's kind of taken over from your addiction? So you get the buzz. Does that make sense? People coming to you, talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
Helping other people not go down the road you went. Kind of, it's very parallel to what I'm trying to achieve here, in the sense that I don't want anybody to go down what I went through. So
it's unreal. I mean, to this day, ever since I started that first YouTube channel, about 119 videos, nearly 100,000 views. For something very niche and nearly 1,200 subscribers on there as well. A very, very niche kind of thing to talk about still. Really? And it's just crazy. I mean, I've had over 850 people message me for help and advice over that time. And then obviously with the work I do now, I mean, I work with a company called Epic Risk Management, and we use lived experience to go around various places, and we do like go into like the most basically the most the sectors where probably the most vulnerable. So like schools, pro sports, so pro sports clubs, financial sector, armed forces and stuff like that as well. The unique thing about Epic is we use lived experience. So myself and there's 7 others as well who we use real lived experience to deliver sessions around gambling.
I'm a massive believer in that, you know. I'm a massive believer, and I'm not gonna, if I'm being honest, I ain't gonna listen to someone that's not been through, stepped in my shoes, or understood where I'm coming from.
I don't think you'll take it seriously. I don't think you wouldn't take it seriously unless someone's lived what you've lived. You know.
Yeah, and it's amazing, mate. I mean,
you said, Andy, you go back to what you said earlier. You know, when you went to Gambling Anonymous, you know, you're going, oh, no one's like me, and all of a sudden, Joe says something, and you're like, well, wait, hold up, I've done that, and then Dave said something, and then you're like, well, yeah, I've done that, and to me, that is exactly the way I felt with Calm. It was like, no one feels like me. Then all of a sudden, I'm reading on a website, this is that, and I've just gone, this is not right. How am I the only one? I thought I was alone. Why is everybody else suffering? This is not right. I have to do something.
I mean, everything just like kind of opened up when I just started to be like more like I say with my job with Epic now, and obviously I did the video for the Northern Gambling Clinic in Leeds as well. I think I don't know, you've probably seen that, the one where I mean, I pulled a few strings at Derby County to be fair to let me come in and do that. So I was very grateful to Derby for letting me do that. It was all around the NHS and stuff, and got my 2 boys involved as well, because both my boys know about my addiction as well. and it's quite nice to
How
get them.
do they do you talk openly to them? Do you generally just be honest with them and so forth?
Yeah, be honest with him. I mean, obviously, Joel's a bit older. He's 13, so he understands a lot more and stuff. Whereas Liam, he's 10. He's probably a bit more on the periphery of it. Lucy's too younger than me. She's only 7, and I don't really want to like introduce her into all that yet. But they know what I do. I mean, they've jumped on a couple of vlogs with me as well back in the day. Liam and Joel did as well, so it's quite funny, really. But it was, you know, what's the best thing as well? When before pre-lockdown, when I was going out and talking to state schools, I've got, oh, where are you going today, Dad? And I'm going to such and such place in the UK or whatever. And Joe, every time we go out, he goes, "I'm proud of you." And it's just amazing just to hear that and off your own flesh and blood. Brilliant. I mean, it's good with my dad as well. I mean, they've seen me grow as well. I mean, my dad blamed himself for a long time because he introduced me to gambling. I went, "Dad, no, not your fault. It was me who had the problem with gambling. I had to take responsibility for what I've done. And by seeking help and getting the support I needed, I've done that. You still gamble. You've got control. I know I can't. I've sorted my debts out. I've still got debt to this day, but I'm still paying it back. The debt is the least of my worries. This is what I say to anyone who's probably struggling with gambling and looking to seek help. The money takes care of itself. There's only one way. Every day you don't gamble, there's only one way the debt goes, and that's down.
Yeah, that's a very wise thing to say, to be fair.
Yeah. Andy, where you said, I think it's a very poignant moment where you said a sort of individual responsibility. I believe heavily in individual responsibility in every life situation. But when you were going through it, when it was just starting, and obviously when you won that $5,000 and you were, you know, doing the credit cards and whatnot, did you find yourself taking blame for it then, or was there other factors that you were able to sort of palm off and go, it's because of this, or because the flop did me on poker in Texas Hold'em or something like that?
You blamed a bad beat, you blame this, you blame that, you blame it's rigged or whatever as well and stuff like that. You blame everything else but yourself at the time, and then you come to realise in recovery that you're a bastard, basically. You're you're a horrible person, and it's you needs to change. And I dropped my bitterness very early about it all and stuff, because I learned to hate it at the start. I really hated it at the end. But did I miss it? I missed gambling for a while, don't get me wrong, but I missed probably the horses, because I had control of the horses. It was everything else that I just went nuts on. And and I was watching horse racing as a spectator sport for a bit. It's probably a bit of like a methadone kind of thing, which I won't agree. I always say each their own in recovery, however you want to do it. It's not just the GA way. There's other ways you can like recover as well. But I would say for me personally, obviously when I was watching horse racing as a spectator sport, I shouldn't really have been doing that. But I pulled my urges away, don't get me wrong. Best thing I did was keep talking about my urges. I had someone on speed. If I needed to talk to somebody, I talked to somebody. And by opening up and like taking responsibility, life got better.
Even like you look at your home situation, you know, you look at your lovely wife. She could have easily just got up and left. I don't think you would begrudge her doing that, but to stand by you and obviously was there for you when you needed to talk. It's quite it speaks volumes of her as a person and as a kind-hearted human. You know, that's all we ever ask in life, is to be there for someone to be there for us. And I think you've got an absolutely amazing woman there, mate. So well done.
Thanks.
Got another question here, I think, which I think is a great question, talking about addictive personalities. I myself I've got addictive personality 100%. Andy, do you think that goes hand in hand, having an addictive personality and being addicted to that sort of thing, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
I think it can like go hand in hand, to be fair. I think for me, I mean, my kind of personality was I liked to flaunt the money as well, kind of thing. So when I used to go out on a Saturday night, I was like, I wouldn't have just like 30, 40 quid back in the day on my hip. I'd have 200-300, and I was there flopping it around, like paying it, making it rain basically back in the day for like bottles of champagne and stuff and all that lot. And I wanted to be seen and heard, so to speak. I had a massive ego, and that's why it's that kind of personality I had. To be fair, obviously, people, as I say, have addictive personalities, and I think things can go off the rails quite quickly if you start whatever your drug of choice is or whatever it is you do. You can quickly get caught up and lost in it. To be fair.
No, I agree with you. We go back to what you said with the kids. Have all of this. I think that moment where your kid says to you, "Dad, where you going today?" and you're saying you're so proud of you for what you're doing. I think a hell of a lot of people can relate to that in this the walk and talk. We've got a lad, Peter Trainer, who's been on the show. His lad Charlie, absolutely wonderful lads. They find so much happiness in walking with each other and talking and meeting new people and fans coming together. And he wanted for his, sorry Charlie if I get this wrong, mate, I think it was his 10th birthday, he wanted just to walk and talk. He didn't want his pals over for a party. He just wanted to go walk and talk from Palace to Arsenal. So it happened. And as a father myself, my son takes a lot of pride in going on a walk and enjoying it, and we have great times together. We just talk and just never stop talking when we're on the walk. We take the mickey out of each other and we laugh, and I don't think we do that enough in life. And when you hear your son say to you he's proud of you, it does really hit a nerve like it's never hit anything before. You can say anything to me and it will never ever come anywhere close to the way that like you said, just your child telling you they're so proud of you. It gives you such, you go back to your ego, it gives you such a buzz and go, wow, I've done good, and it's the only person you ever kind of want some comment from, should we say. So
Agreed,
what's happening now with you? I keep seeing you over at Derby and doing your stuff with Derby. Could have done with you a couple of seasons ago down at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, to be fair,
I got it in.
yeah. I mean, obviously, with the work I do now, we do talks and deliver sessions to give people an informed choice around gambling. So give them the facts and stuff around it and stuff, and share my story, and hopefully it gives people that choice then, because I could never tell people not to do things, because the worst thing I could do is tell people or whatever not to do something, because more likely they're going to do it, aren't they?
That's a man's nature. That's the
way it is. That's just the way it is. Human nature.
As long as you can give people that informed choice, that give them everything around what could potentially happen, and which path you want to follow and stuff like that as well. It's humbling to work with a great company that I do, and which prides itself on social impact, honesty, and trust as well. And it's brilliant to be around it and be around others who, if I ever struggled, I know I've got another 7 people there who've gone through something similar to me as well. So it's amazing. And for such a young company, it is going places. It's just an amazing place to work for, and it's brought me together with some amazing people.
So, Andy, obviously you're doing some amazing stuff right now. What would because obviously the reason why we're having this conversation is because obviously you've lived it, and we very much approve the if you've lived it, you can then try and go in and try and help people that are also going through the circumstances as well. Me and Lee, as we said, we're not huge gamblers. Sometimes I'll buy a scratch card or something like that, but nothing too extravagant. I think the most I ever won on a scratchy was like 20 quid, and I thought, oh my god, it's amazing. And then I spent, I kept on buying a scratch card until I'd lost, and then I went, right, that's it, I'm not doing it again. But if someone's going through the circumstances right now, or I meet someone, or Lee meets someone, what can we do to try and help them, or what can they do to help themselves if they start thinking, I think I might have a problem here, or they're starting to realize self-reliability, they're starting to self-acceptance and all of that stuff. What's the first step? Because it's easier said than done. Some people will go on the internet and they'll think there's 1,000 hurdles for me to have to go to GA and it not just, you don't just walk in a room like in the films and you're just like, right, I'm here now, everything's going to get sorted. What's the first step?
What I will say, you've got to be honest and you've got to kind of want it as well, so to speak.
Yeah.
What I will say, I mean, I've seen it through GA a hell of a lot. I mean, people who are not ready or people who are still struggling and stuff, they'll make 1,000 excuses not to go to a GA meeting, but make one excuse to go and have a bet. And you've got to accept it that it's your recovery end of the day. No one else can do it for you. It's got to come down to you end of the day. There's loads of fabulous help out there with GA. There's GamCare, there's National Problem Gambling Helpline. There's even clinics on the NHS now. There's going to be 15 of them within the space of 2 years.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant news. That's the thing. We don't know this sort of information. That's great to know.
You think of how many drug and alcohol rehabilitation clinics there's on the NHS. Hundreds of them. You know, the one I promoted last year, the Leeds one, that was the second gambling addiction clinic on the NHS. The second. Yeah.
We're
behind. Obviously, and don't get me wrong, they need the help they can get, people who are alcoholic or people who are struggling with drugs and stuff and all that. But it'd be nice to get on parity with them, to be fair. Because it is there. I mean, there's a lot of people who are struggling with gambling and don't know where to go. And there's only, say, something like 3% of people go and get help for gambling addiction in the UK. What's the other 97% getting?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's all there. There's GA. There's over nearly 200 meetings in the UK alone per week. Obviously, the work through we've done on Zoom through lockdown as well. It's been great for me on a personal level because I've been hitting meetings worldwide. So I've been to the American ones as well. So that's brilliant. Been a lot of fun to listen in. Yeah. So it's brought me into to be fair, this lockdown has brought me into contact with meetings I never ever would have stepped foot in otherwise.
The silver lining.
Yeah.
The silver lining.
Yeah, it is definitely. But there is a stack of help out there, loads of help, and obviously on Twitter as well. There's loads of like WhatsApp groups and Twitter groups and loads of Twitter handles and people are trying to draw experience, strength, and hope, trying to get help. And obviously my Twitter is out there. Feel free to message me privately. So
we'll definitely put your Twitter out on this video when.
Yeah, it's just my name. So
yeah. I just think it's amazing, and obviously I can see by yourself now, like the change in you. Like obviously you're saying that
you've got a definite positive aura around you, Andy. 100%.
Huge positive and a huge good loving aura around you. You know,
definitely.
Thank you.
You've come out the other end.
I want to show that there is a positive life out there. That you can turn a corner. That you can change your life. That. It's not all doom and gloom. You might feel however horrific you do. I can always say, look, I've been where you are now, sat there where you are now. And in a selfish kind of manner, they're the kind of people that help me drive forward as well, because I don't want to go back to that feeling again. End of the day, your recovery is your number one. You have to look after your own recovery before you try and help others, so to speak. And what I say is, look, you can change. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to take it a day at a time. You've got to walk before you can run with things like this, and get the barriers in place. There's gambling blocks now for online gambling. You've got GamStop, which as soon as you put your email and your details in, you can be blocked for 5 years. There's Gamban app as well, which is a good tool as well, and various other ways you can self-exclude from bookmakers and stuff as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just literally going to get on to
Great question from Sean, yeah.
Sean, do you think these online casinos have good enough safeguarding for those struggling? Obviously, you just literally touched on it there.
I mean, I think over the years, I've seen, since I've came out in the space of 4 years, things have got better, generally, for me personally. Signs of improvement. Obviously, I'm quite happy to talk to the industry because at the end of the day, they want to pick my brains and listen and talk, and they want the advice. They want to try and spot the signs. They don't. For me personally, they don't want people struggling. They don't want people, unfortunately, killing themselves or anything like that, because it's a bad business thing.
Of course, it's bad press. It's bad press for them.
It's better to have constructive dialogue with people who are like me, who've the lived experience and stuff, and getting involved in stuff like that as well. And talk. I mean, I've met loads of people out of the industry and folk and all that lot, and I've sat in loads of countless round tables and talking with them. I talk with people online as well, and they're forever picking your brains, and they want to make it better. They want to make it safer, and you don't want anyone harmed by gambling. You're never going to reduce it all, don't get me wrong, but give people those informed decisions, give them the right tools. I mean, the online tools have got a lot better as well. I mean, you've got like deposit limits, and you can use all them kind of limits as well, which is very good as well. I mean, you think back into my day, I had nothing like that, etc. I mean, you can't gamble on credit cards anymore as well. That got brought in this year, which is a fantastic.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that got brought in April this year. Funny enough, day on my 13th anniversary of that, I bet. So, I mean, credit featured quite heavily around my gambling and stuff and all that. And but I mean, that's another important kind of step forward for the industry as well.
Well, I can't thank you enough. You know, to me, it's absolutely phenomenal. It was meant to happen 4 or 5 years ago. Getting back together and talking about this, because it is such a big subject, and it is such a taboo. You know, it's
people don't like talking about the M word in general, regardless of whether it's around gambling. The money word is a word that people don't like to discuss in today's day and age.
I thought, you know, that's funny enough, because there's, I mean, with regards to banks and stuff as well. I mean, that was quite funny. It was quite a clever advert. I remember, was it Lloyd's who brought out, like,
it's the M word. Yeah,
I thought that was very clever of them to get people talking about it, because it's money is a very much a taboo subject. You don't want to know people. The only time you want people to know about your finances if you're filthy rich. You don't want them to know that you're in debt or you're in absolute despair, do you?
Sure, that's exactly right.
No, it's just been absolutely phenomenal. You know, I've learned a hell of a lot, and hopefully everybody else has. I think we've got one question, really. One more question, and then I mean, that's us done.
For anyone out there,
sorry,
who no, go for it.
I ain't got my glasses.
Oh, right, okay. For anyone out there who's unsure if their gambling is out of control, how do they know when the point is to reach out for support? Kind of covering what I said earlier. When's the point? When do you think it is? Because obviously, some people think it's probably the time, I'm guessing, when they're like, right, I'm in debt now. Or is it the time where you're like, I'm up $5,000. I want another $5,000. What do you know what I mean? Because that either way could be the particular point.
I can only talk for myself, my own recovery. Personally, I mean, I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit nowhere else to go other than finishing my life off. I had to get to that stage. Obviously, it'd be different people have different kind of like recovery methods and different levels of where they are with their life. You have to like grab that recovery by the bollocks, basically, and you know you can actually do it, so to speak. You've got to know you want the support as well. Try not to push it away and stuff. End of the day, no one can do it for you. It has to come from you within. And if you feel you're strong enough to do it, you do it.
That's it. That's that self-responsibility again, isn't it? To be honest with you, you've got to, and you know that I can never remember the saying about the horse where you lead it to the water. I can never remember it. But you get the premise. I never remember the exact same, but yeah,
you can't make them drink it.
That's it. Yeah. So, you know, you want to help people, but sometimes you get into circumstances where they don't want to help themselves, and you kind of have to kind of be there to pick up the pieces when it's all gone.
I mean, when people mess with me, I won't ever chase people. I used to do that thinking I could save the world.
Sure.
I realized early on that I can't do it for them. I can't tell people what they can and can't do. I just share from my own perspective and my own recovery. If you want to take stuff out of that, you want to take parts of that, please do. If you want to listen to others, that's fine as well. But at the end of the day, no one can do it for you. That recovery has to come from within.
Hit the nail on the head, mate. Hit the nail on the head. Andy, it's been phenomenal, mate. I generally can't thank you enough, mate.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
That means a lot. We will definitely, once we could get back together,
Yeah.
sort of, we definitely come up and do something.
Yeah, no, mate, I got around as well. I mean, I'm down London now and again as well. I think the last time I was down there, I was in Tulse Hill.
Tulse Hill,
Oh yeah.
Tulse Hill, yeah. Yeah, mate, yeah. I'm walking around like I own the streets, mate. Bit of a Midlands kind of thing. I have a beer coat on as well, to be fair. So
Good stuff.
But I think that's it for this week's show. I can't, like I said, I can't thank
Andy. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your story, by the way. You know, the moment where you're, you know, 4:30 feeding the little one, you know, Googling stuff about trying to just sort of end it all and whatnot is it hits you.
Yeah,
it hits you right there. So, but I just want to say thank you for being so honest and open with it. It's an amazing story, and you tell it so well as well. We all get on board emotionally.
Yeah,
100%.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
I totally agree. No problem at all. So next week, keep an eye on the website as to who we got for next week's show. I've got to dig around. I've got to find out who's it's going to be. But till next time, keep talking, keep smiling, and if you can, keep walking. Be good, everybody.
Thank you.